So, the first time I bonked. So basically, also a good tip. If you ever need blankets, just take them off aeroplanes. I had this when I was coming back from Australia, and it's my favourite blanket ever. But anyway, so the first time I bonked, I just come back from like 120k bike ride, which is the longest ride that I've ever done, and found it all fine. Yeah, took enough food, took enough water, was getting water along the way. But one little section, I completely just bonked, like completely just run out of energy, run out of glucose, and I really struggled. And I just wanted to talk about it. So I basically took 3 packets a day. So it was, like I say, a 120 kilometre ride. It was about 1,500 metres elevation. And it took, I think, cycling time, I can't remember, but I think total time it was like 6 hours or something. But yeah, and so in this one part, we'd taken a bit of a detour and it'd taken us on this really hilly route, and I just wasn't expecting it, and it was just so fucking hilly. Like there was one really steep hill. I think it was at parts it was like 22% maybe. It was just really steep, and it just seemed to go on for so long. And then we carried on, and at this point we'd been cycling for maybe 2 a bit hours, maybe 3 hours, and it just really got to me. I'd just not eaten anywhere near enough, and like at one point, do you know like when kids get really grizzly? Like I want to explain it as being grizzly, like if kids haven't slept enough and they just get all like, oh, like mardy. That's the word, mardy. So when kids get mardy, or when anyone gets mardy, that was basically how I would sum up how I was. Like I was on my bike and it was just hurting. It didn't feel like pain as in like, Joe, if you're going up a really steep climb and you can just feel like it burning. It wasn't like that. It was like, I can't really describe it. I'm going to try and describe it because that's the point of the video. But it's like, all I'm going to explain is, so basically I was cycling and I wanted to cry, like involuntary crying. It was just kind of, do you know when you start to cry, you kind of do the, like that at the start. It was like that. I was like, okay, fucking pull yourself together. You're not fucking crying because you're on a bike. Like, this is fucking ridiculous. And because we were on a hill, I didn't want to be like, oh, can we stop so I can eat something? So I was like, I've got to wait till I get to the top. But looking back, I should have just eaten more before. So that is what I've learned from that. But my friend Victoria, who I was cycling with, she said that, because she was ahead of me, she said that she turned back at one of the points and was pointing out these like really fluffy sheep. This is when she stopped, she told me about this. And she said that she just looked at my face and I just looked really angry and like grumpy, and yeah, it wasn't a nice experience. And the only other time I've experienced this was in Thailand when I was cycling up Doi Satep for the first ever time. Like I'd not eaten anything beforehand. I'd just gone up thinking, oh, it'll be fine. And I did the same thing then. It's like this involuntary, like, crying action. Like, you just want to start bawling your eyes out. And I don't even know why. It's just like a very weird sensation, because it wasn't like overall tiredness, because as soon as we'd stopped for like 10 minutes and actually eaten something, I felt absolutely fine. But there was just like this one chunk in the middle where I was just fucking miserable, hated life, and I guess it just shows me to eat more than I think, and more before I'm hungry and before I get to that point, because I don't want to get to that point. And I was obsessed with drinking water, because I've done that before, where you go out on long rides and it's hot and you don't really drink enough, and then that night you just get like this banging headache of like, I've done it a few times and I don't deal very well with pain, and it just felt like I was like gonna die or something. That's such an exaggeration, but it did. I was just like, the pain, the pounding of headache, no matter how much I drank, it was just so painful. I just got dehydrated. So I was so like intent on not getting dehydrated that I just forgot to eat as much. So I guess you just learn by mistakes, or you can try and learn by my mistakes. Just eat enough, and that sounds really like arbitrary, but like just eat enough, because it's relative to your body weight, how far you're going, all that kind of stuff. So for me, I weigh about 80 kilos, and I'd taken 3 packs of dates, which is about 1,800 calories, but I only ate 2 of those. But I'd not eaten 2 at the time when we stopped, you see, so I should have eaten more by then. 'Cause that's the thing, you've got to think how many calories you're actually burning doing these cycles. So learn by my mistakes and just basically eat as much as you can before. Not as much as you can, because you've got to physically be able to pedal. But like, I just completely messed it up, and I will definitely learn for future not to get in that fucking awful grumpy state that I did. So yeah, sorry about that, Victoria. But see you next video.